timing down yet. I have 9 minutes. Okay, so we have 9 minutes. Kathleen, we promised that she could leave at 2. So quick questions, quick responses.
Up for now.
Yes, please.
One statement, one question. Over the last 40 years, conservatives and the new right have done a good job of defining their terms and stating their values as moral values. Progressives have not been very good at that. What will you do to state progressive values in moral terms?
Well, now the questions are hard. Can I leave? What a great question. And I'd love to hear people's thoughts. I guess how I talk about them, and tell me whether you think we, should be expressing these in different ways. But the way that I talk about it is in values. I mean, that's how you've heard me describe what I think the shared Wisconsin values are: education, healthcare, environment, and jobs. I think those are our shared values. And to me, I'm a little bit worried about the morality language, because the far right seems to suggest that there is only one way to define that.
That's the reason for asking the question.
Yes. So it seems to me that we are more successful and able to reach more people if we talk about it in ways that people talk about it. Healthcare for their kids, good schools, clean air. It just kind of cuts down to me to those really basic values. Is that, what do you say? What is that? What does anybody else suggest? Anybody got a better idea or thought on this?
I'm thinking of things like same-sex marriage.
Yes.
And the things that are happening with women's rights right now.
Yes.
If there's anything you can say to that.
Oh, yes.
Could you repeat the topic, because I don't know her voice carried over here.
Same-sex marriage and women's rights.
So here we have, we are in these places by virtue of history, right? We are where we are, and you do the best where you are. And so when I ran 15 years ago for county executive, it was very different than today. I can give you many examples, but one of them, some of you will remember that there was a crowded primary, and then I made it through, and Mike Blasker made it through, who had been a conservative leader on the county board. And so Mike and I would be in, of course, many, many forums, and Mike just happened to have at that time a 15-year-old daughter. My son at that time was 15. So we would be in forums, and I remember many examples, but one I remember was a nice gentleman said in the forum and asked me, what will you do when you have to work so many hours? And who will take care of your son? And I thanked him for caring about my son, but I said I would hope you would ask the same question of Mike about his daughter. So those subtle and not so subtle, there were many not so subtle. Can she balance the budget? What if there's a tornado? This is real. Really. So we have moved the ball, but the ball still has to keep going. And that was what I have spent my life doing, moving the ball on a lot of barometers. And we've got to keep moving it. And it's where we are. It isn't where we ought to be. But Rosa Parks said, we're not where we're going to be, but at least we are where we were. And it's our job here to keep moving the ball. And what is, again, to get it back to the reason why Heather has me here today, to get it back to a difference between a Governor Scott Walker and a Governor Falk, is look what's happening just in the last month in the legislature. I mean, you don't even have to go back any further, where a law had finally been passed that allows people based on their gender to sue if they've been discriminated based on their gender in the workplace for equal pay. Now, presumably this would mostly be for women because we are still only paid 81 cents on the dollar compared to men. The Republican legislature just passed the law to repeal that, and it's sitting on Governor Walker's desk. I have called on him to veto it. But this is the 21st century. And it will then be the law, if he doesn't repeal that it is okay to pay you less than him, just because of your sex. We have a long ways to go.
One of the ways